Hi, my name is Stephanie Flint, and I'm the co-creator of Infinitus Publishing, and today I'll be doing a reading of Magic Stealing, Chapter 15, and in other news, Isaac and I will be at the Old Drum Festival in Warrensburg, Missouri on April 9th. We'll be selling copies of Magic Stealing. We'll also be selling copies of our Phalanx game bags, which this is an example of one that Isaac made today. It has the game board on the front. It's got little drawstrings, which I can't really demonstrate right now with the, actually, I'll pull this out and sort of demonstrate to be kind of nice. But you can actually, you'll be able to pull it like that, and you'll be able to pull it a little closer, but I want to be nice to the board for now. Although it's actually pretty good at taking a beating, because we have another one that we've been stress testing, and it still looks fairly good. And we'll also come with the cards and little glass dragon tiers that act as the game pieces, but we're still, those are on order, and we should actually be getting those in tomorrow. We have the game pieces already, but we don't have the cards. But we will be selling those, and of course we also have the wooden boards that the craftsman is currently working on. So we're looking forward to selling those, and if you're interested, feel free to stop by the booth. We'll also we'll have a game out. We're hoping to be able to actually, demonstrate how to play, and hopefully it'll be fun. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the reading, and that's all for now.
Chapter 15. Mud flew from Starlight's hooves as he galloped over the cobblestone streets of Vinya. Tirana left the reins extended. She'd seen shadow riders in the distance, their grey magic obscured by the grey rain. Darnan clung to her waist, his arms tight as she raced Starlight along the back road, away from the potentially crowded marketplace where canvas would be stretched between the buildings to offer shelter from the storm. She was already soaked, and they needed speed, not protection. Tirana nudged her knees into Starlight's side for one last burst of energy. She and Darnan would go for the show to Kachal, while Siklana would warn her father. Siklana rode close, though the distance between them had grown as her mare tired. Starlight rounded the final alley, and Siklana drove her mare into the marketplace. "Good luck!" she called. Peasants leapt out of the way as the shadows moved closer, but as soon as the shadows had passed, the commoners returned to their business as if they'd forgotten the seconds before. The shadows made no sign of stopping. Tirana held her breath. They had to get to the stone before the shadows. Almost there. The cottage came into view, 3 shops from the street corner. Starlight sprang forward, side muscles bulging. When they reached the cottage, he dug his hooves into the ground. Tirana shrieked, grabbed the saddle with her legs, and barely managed to stay in her seat. Thunder rumbled overhead. She twisted in the saddle. The shadows were still several blocks away, but there was no time to waste. "I'll hold them off," Darnan said. His eyes were wide and his cheeks pale, and he licked his lips nervously. "Just be careful, okay?" Rain streaked Tirana's face as she hopped from the saddle. Starlight snorted. A quick glance around the area didn't reveal any hidden shadows, but she still drew her sword. Meanwhile, Darnan backed Starlight away from the door. Fire flickered in his palms, smoky from the rain. Tirana hurried inside. He hadn't fought the shadows in this timeline. He just had her stories. What if these shadows didn't react the same? She forced away the treacherous thoughts. Darnan could hold his own, so long as she checked for the stone and got back before the shadows reached him. Rain drummed the canvas windows, which provided a faint tan glow in the dark. The ropes hung limp from the rafters. The incense had dissipated, leaving only the musty smell of wet wool where the roof leaked. The Shoto Kachal still sat on its respective shelf, untouched. For a moment, Tirana wondered if everything she remembered had really happened. She retrieved the stone anyway and grabbed a pile of oilskin from the lower shelf. Lightning flashed. Thunder rumbled within the tiny cottage. Tirana spun around, clutching the stone to her chest. "Ifa?" The goddess inclined her head. Her white blonde hair spilled across her face. "Greetings. I see you've adjusted well to the new timeline." She smiled, but her perfection was tarnished by dark purple circles under her eyes. "I'm all right," Tirana said. "But we're being chased by shadows." Yes, I'm aware." Ifa's white gown billowed around her ankles as she strode forward and tapped the covered stone with a manicured fingertip. "Keep this with you. You may find its properties useful." Tirana swallowed hard and sheathed her sword. "I'm not planning on going back in time again." "Of course not. But you should still protect this." "Tirana!" Darnan called, his voice higher than usual. A flash of fire whooshed by the front door. Tirana stuffed the oilskin under her arm and held the cotton-wrapped stone tight against her waist. "I've got to help him." Aoife bowed her head and stepped aside. Keep him safe, Tirana. Our success in this war counts on him being alive. She clasped her hands together and vanished. Right, Tirana murmured. She rushed outside. Darren fought to control Starlight, who pranced in the rain and swung his head side to side. The shadows were a block away, circling, trying to approach without getting hit by one of Darren's fireballs. One shadow urged her horse forward. That horse belonged to Tirana's mother. Tirana's heart pounded desperately, but she thanked Shull that she didn't recognize the rider. She thrust out her hand and her magic, sending a wave of bright green ribbons to knock the shadow off the horse's back. The shadow shrieked. The horse reared and skidded away, then waited near the end of the road while the shadow nursed her rump from the street. Come on! Darren offered Tirana his hand. She gave him the stone and the oilskin instead, then climbed up behind him. He sent a fireball flying at the remaining horse's hooves. The shadow evaded and continued circling. Move! Tirana reached around Darren to grab the reins. Her hand hit the edge of the cotton wrap that concealed the shoulder cachal. The cloth fell away. White light cracked through the dark afternoon and lit every window and building and glistening shingle. It sparkled in every water droplet. It lit the sky and the street. It blinded. Darren cried out and covered his eyes. Tirana fumbled for the stone. She felt only the wet leather of Starlight's saddle. The stone thudded against the cobblestone. Starlight half-stepped backward, his hooves clicking the street. Tirana scrambled off the horse, blind. They needed to see the shadows. She crouched on the slick stone. Her fingers scrabbled over the dirty, muddy crags in the ground. Then, finally, she touched the smooth, warm glass. Beside it, grimy cloth. She tossed the cover back over the stone and forced her eyes open. The street was as it was before. The shadows had vanished. Her heart skipped a beat. She glanced frantically toward Darren. Did you see where they went? He shook his head. No, I didn't. I told you that the shoulder cachal has useful properties, did I not? Aoife's voice purred in Tirana's thoughts. The shadows are gone. Tirana caught her breath. You mean we have a weapon against the shadows? Yes. I don't suppose you could have mentioned this earlier, she mumbled. Darren raised his eyebrows quizzically. What are you talking about? Aoife said the stone's a weapon. Ah. He passed Tirana the oilskin. She quickly wrapped the stone, ignoring the fact that it was already wet, and stashed it in the saddlebag, secured it tight, and double-tucked the buckle. That stone wasn't going anywhere. We should get Siglana, Darren said. Tirana nodded. There might be more shadows. She climbed up behind Darren, and they raced toward the city square.